Get ready for a Supreme Desert Superbloom.
This is the time to come out here.
Desert wildflowers are blooming as far as the eye can see in the Anza Borrego Desert and Borrego Springs, California. So let's get right into it.
The Superbloom is in full swing here in the northern Borrego Valley. I'm at the mouth of Coyote Canyon in the San Diego backcountry, and the purple mat is blooming, the bear poppies, sand verbenas, and so many more wildflowers. It's just incredible. I can't believe that after such a wet winter, we're already seeing so many blooming flowers at this lower elevation.
Blazing star sand verbenas have blanketed the base of Coyote Canyon in the northern section of Borrego Springs in the Anza Borrego Desert. Here we have a sacred dultura, a bear poppy, ample galeta grass, desert anemone, a beautiful fiddleneck, just beginning to articulate its elegant violin-shaped form, and of course, the glorious purple blazing star sand verbenas blanketing the desert floor. We're on the Montezuma Highway heading up the San Ysidro Mountains and greeted by the sight of blooming canary yellow desert sages covering the entirety of the slopes. It's an incredible sight to see, so we pull over safely for a better look.
The Spring Superbloom is underway in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, and it is just incredible. It is just really a once-in-a-decade Superbloom. So we're having an amazing Spring Superbloom in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park here in the San Diego backcountry. Oh my goodness. And the roads are busy. Everyone is coming down here to see the Spring Superbloom. It is such a beautiful weekend. There's really nowhere else I'd rather be right now in Southern California.
And we're back on the road to the top of the hill, with the blooming desert sage-covered mountains continuing for another 1,000 feet of elevation before we get up to Culp Valley. We're back in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park now. What a great feeling it is to drive off the paved road. I've never met a dirt road I didn't wonder what was down, so today I'm satisfying my curiosity and driving down Grapevine Canyon Road. Grapevine Canyon Road starts high up in the San Ysidro Mountains in the ranching hamlet of Ranchita. To a degree, it runs parallel to the Pacific Crest Trail. The Barrel Springs trailhead is plus or minus a mile up the road and offers incredible hiking through the mountains to the south and through the historic Warner Springs Ranch to the north. Grapevine Canyon starts out going through private land, mostly owned by the Vista Water District and some ranchers who own some amazing spots in the valleys. Make sure you pass through this road with the utmost respect for private property owners and be conscious to not leave a massive dust cloud in your wake. It's surprisingly green at the higher elevations. The road is in better condition than I expected. It at least gets regraded from time to time for the utility poles to remain accessible. However, there were some very challenging spots the day we were there. You definitely need a four-wheel drive, high-profile vehicle to do this road safely. There are also many portions where vehicles don't have enough room to pass, so watch your speed as you come around blind corners. Here in a sunny patch of sand, the wildflowers are just starting to bloom as the land wakes up from its winter slumber.
Sunday is for San Diego backcountry off-road adventures, and this Sunday is an especially beautiful one. We've been winding our way through the back roads of Grapevine Canyon, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I didn't even expect to make it this far, but the Jeep road is reasonably maintained and graded, and we're going to try to go all the way down to Highway 78 and through the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. So this is absolutely beautiful back here. The hills are green, everything's starting to bloom, and there's almost no one here, so this is absolutely pristine. We're about halfway down the mountain on Grapevine Canyon Road, and we've stumbled upon Angelina Springs. And this is what I love about Sunday drives in the San Diego backcountry. There are so many places of archaeological and historic and just natural geological importance that the feeling of discovery and of serendipity, of just with no effort whatsoever stumbling across places like this, is so thrilling.
A couple miles before we arrived at Angelina Spring, we crossed into the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. The road definitely took a turn for the worse, but nothing that a Jeep or a four-wheel drive pickup truck with high clearance couldn't handle. At this point, we're at the lower end of the canyon at a lower elevation. The vegetation has thinned out and more of a desert landscape emerges. The slopes of the canyon walls and hills are fully saturated with blooming, vivid, saffron-colored desert sages.
Down to the desert, and it's in full bloom. You can see the chuparosas, the desert sages, and we're back to cholla cactus and yuccas, and I can already feel the desert breezes of the afternoon kicking up. So Sunday is for San Diego backcountry mountain drives, and we've gone from the mountains down to the low desert. So this has been so cool going down Grapevine Canyon. The road has been in much better condition than I expected it to. Most high clearance four-wheel drive vehicles could do it, and this road is pretty much here because of the power lines. But one really interesting thing about Grapevine Canyon is that the Kumi Native American tribes used to use Grapevine Canyon as a transportation corridor between the mountains and the low desert. If you remember from my Morteros video, they were down in their winter encampment, and this area would have been the canyon that they were coming down from: the San Ysidro Mountains, the Vulcan Mountains, Julian, Warner Springs, and Santa Isabel. And they would have had food and water the entire way down here. And just on the other side of these hills, the San Felipe Creek, probably in those days, was flowing. These days it probably doesn't flow too much. So it's an incredible feeling of serendipity to just continue coming across really cool artifacts from the Kumi tribes in this area. So this is the time to come out here, come out to the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in San Diego backcountry.
It's such a beautiful sight to behold. The scale of it is so immense. I feel absolutely dwarfed by the magnificent beauty of it. I think it's the way the flowers fully saturate the landscape that makes experiencing the desert wildflower superbloom so supremely awe-inspiring. The wind is really starting to kick up and push down the desert slopes. That's one thing about spring in the desert. The wildflowers are so beautiful, but most late afternoons, the wind whips up and it's best to start heading back home before the desiccated cactus needles start flying.
Well, it's been an amazing, supreme afternoon in the San Diego backcountry. If you've watched this video the entire way, thank you so much. You know, here in the San Diego backcountry, the wildflowers are blooming and the creeks are flowing. Everything is green. So please enjoy my video, Coyote Canyon Off-Road Overland Adventure. And please subscribe for more desert adventures for mind, body, and spirit.